Welcome again to Seven Pinnacle Culture Radio and today's show of Just Birth Parents. On our show today, Birth Parents Love Box, I am going to be sharing a very powerful tool that I believe will help you along your journey. And one of the things that I have discovered as an empowerment coach is that this love box was a very powerful tool in other areas of my life as well, and I ended up using it throughout my years of counseling others in different areas to help them work through the grieving or the separation of a loved one. And so I think you're going to be really blessed by today's show. I believe that the love box is going to speak volumes to you personally. And I also believe that you're going to see how it can be a powerful tool of not only hope, but of bridging the gap between you and your child. Let me just ask you, what does hope mean to you? What does hope mean to you? You see, to me, hope means having optimal peace every day. What my hope is may be different than what your hope is. You see, the hope is that we have a brighter tomorrow, but for each one of us, that looks a little bit different. So, let me leave this with you. Hope, the letters, the acronym stands for having optimal peace every day. Having optimal peace every day. Whatever that may look like, it may look totally different for you than from another birth mother. Hope is whatever it looks like that today we have optimal peace, whatever that looks like. And I know that I keep saying that over and over again because I really want to drive that home. We too often are comparing our adoption journey to those of others. And we see others who may have walked through a particular door or they've journeyed a certain path, and we believe and we think that we're going to do the same thing. Each one of us is created differently and uniquely, and each one of our adoption experiences is different. And so let us not get caught up in the expectation that it needs to look a certain way or that we're going to journey a certain path. Let us not allow others to put labels upon us, or let us not own the labels that others have attached to themselves, okay? Also, let us grab a hold of that our journey is not something that we get over. It is something that we work through. You see, our journey is not something we get over. It is something we work through. We don't wake up one day and just say, oh, we're over this adoption journey. No, it's something that we work through. Just like anyone else who loses a loved one, who goes through a defining moment of a radical change in their life, there is a grieving process. And I'm not just talking about with a loved one. You may have, or there may be, radical changes in your life where you actually grieve what used to be as you step into where you're going. And again, you don't wake up one day and you're just over it. It's a process. It's a process of discovery. It's a process of understanding that there's hope, that life brings changes, and changes are okay. And we can be happy with the changes that are before us. It doesn't mean that we're not going to grieve where we've been. It doesn't mean that it's not going to be uncomfortable because we've been in a particular situation for so long. But our destination is having hope, having optimal peace every day. And what it looks like today will look totally different tomorrow. So let us grant ourselves permission, whatever that looks like, to journey our road, however that looks like. And let us not compare it to another's path. Let us not compare it to another's heart or another's opinion. But let us stand confident in knowing that today I'm going to be okay, and I take one day at a time. One day at a time. And that is where I believe the Birth Parent Love Box can bless you so. You see, along my journey, there were times when I would be out in the store and I would just go down the children's aisles, go down the toy aisle, go through the clothing aisles. Or I may be out and about and I might see something or experience something or hear a song that triggered an emotion. And I so needed an outlet to be able to tangibly do something with all of the emotion that I had stirring. Because one of the things that we tend to do by default is to tell ourselves that we're not hurting and that it doesn't matter. And that is an absolute lie. How can it be that we would bring a living human being into this world with so much love attached and not hurt, not feel the pain of being away from our child? We need to speak it out, and we need to see it for what it is, and we need to allow ourselves and give ourselves permission to feel it and to experience it, and not continually lie to ourselves and tell ourselves that it doesn't hurt. People are foolish, and people will say foolish things. And we cannot control the actions and the words of others and what they may say and what they may do to us. However, we can control ourselves, and we can do something about how we're feeling about something or someone. And the love box is exactly your vehicle to doing just that. It's to help you to have the hope. It's to bridge the gap between you and your child until you have the opportunity, just the right opportunity, to be able to hand them over to your child. You see, for me, in the beginning, all it was just a Rubbermaid box. A Rubbermaid box with her name attached to it. The love box. For me, it was a Rubbermaid box because that's as far as I could go. But for you, you may decide that you want to use a shoebox, or you may want to go and buy a box and take the time to decorate it and attach their name to it. and to put your heart into your creativity of creating the box. You see, my love box started off with just a small Rubbermaid box that got bigger and bigger and bigger. And it wasn't until I actually gave her her book and gave her her whole life together, when we were together, her whole life, her whole beginning of her life with me and my life for those 17 years, that I was able to pour everything into the book. So I used just a Rubbermaid container, and for me personally, it wasn't until it was time for her to have her adoption story that I put all of the creativity into creating her adoption book. So for each one of us, it's going to look a little bit different. And so all I want to do is just give you some tools, give you some ideas, and allow you to chew on those and then to be able to do what accommodates you, what is best for where you are. And maybe you are going to start with a Rubbermaid box, but eventually grow into something that is more than just a Rubbermaid box. Maybe one day you're going to be out and you're going to see something and you're going to be like, that's it. That's what I want. That's what I want to hold all of these treasures in. So your love box begins with whatever it is that you have that you can put into it, your love letters to your child. You see, for me, when holidays rolled around, I would think about a card. I would be in the store and think, oh, she would like that. And there were times that I actually stepped out to purchase, and there were other times where I didn't. But the great thing about this love box is maybe you won't go and actually purchase, but you can actually write down on a piece of paper, today I thought of you. As I walked up and down the toy aisle, and this is what my heart wanted to give you. You see, your love box is just a place to hold your treasures, the treasures of your heart, to be able to bridge the gap and to be able to pass along those love letters, those love notes, those little moments of, I never forgot, you were always on my mind, and I love you so. You see, whether it is a letter that you spend an hour and a half shedding your tears and pouring your heart out over, or whether it's just a quick little note to say, today, I thought of you, or whether it is actually a box that will hold special treasures. The greatest thing is that there is no limits to it. There is nothing that can stop it, and it can become whatever it is that you desire for it to become. This love box and these letters are your heart letting that special someone know how much you truly love them. And it was out of your love that you chose to place your child into the loving arms of another. I'm going to encourage you, no pun intended, think outside of the box. And maybe you're like me. Maybe you aren't that creative, but you'll be surprised what comes out of you when it's your heart pouring into it. If you have a question for me regarding your love box, or if you want to share something, go ahead and send me an email at info@justbirthparents.com. I would love to hear from you. Feel free to send me a picture of your love box. I'd love to put it on the website and just to let others see that they too have a means in which they can express their heart. The love box. The love never ends. It goes on and on and on. I want to thank you for tuning in today for Just Birth Parents. I hope you take the time to listen to some of our other shows. Invite your other birth parent friends to tune in. If you have a topic of conversation or a question for our show, go ahead and just message me right through our Blog Talk Radio show page, or you can send me a message at info@justbirthparents.com.